What if I told you that you can achieve everything you want in your career with these 7 habits? If you're like me, you like efficiency. You like getting from point A to Z the best way possible. You like to see the results of the things that you put effort in. At IOReady, International Organizations Ready, we share knowledge, tips, and information about working in international organizations and NGOs for a fulfilling and impactful career. Today, I will share with you 7 habits that will get you to exactly where you want to be in your career. It has worked for me so far so well. And if you want to hear about my journey into international organizations, I invite you to watch this video on 7 strategies that got me into EU, UN, and the OECD. I have gone through multiple transformations that have got me to this stage of my career, and it is all thanks to these 7 habits. And I'd like to share them with you in this video so that you can start implementing them too. This video is a second out of 3 videos about strategizing and planning your career. The next video that, if you want to see, you can subscribe to this channel, is going to be a visualizing meditation for your dream career in 2025. Let's get into it. Habit number 1, visualizing your dream career. Now, that is something that I have been doing since I have been a child and a teenager in a slightly different category of activities because I used to be a karate fighter. So I used to imagine and visualize a lot as an athlete how I'm going to perform and how I'm going to take part in different competitions and practices. But then I have adopted this approach to my career when it started. Visualizing my dream career has been truly a drive that kept me going through some of the most difficult times in my life, through studying and working at the same time and knowing that I'm doing it all so I can have the life of my dreams, the career of impact that I've always wanted. And it really meant a lot to me that I was able to think about this dream career, visualize it, and take steps one by one, even though I knew that it's going to take 10 plus years for me to get exactly where I wanted to be. But visualizing it regularly allowed me to keep going even when things were hard. It still keeps me going when things are hard. You can visualize in many different ways. You can have a vision board. You can take part in different meditations, visualizing meditations. It can include watching different TV series that embody the career that you want to have. It can include talking to people that are in positions that you're impressed by, listening to their interviews, anything that will help you visualize where you want to be and keep you going through the tough times, because there are going to be many. Habit number 2, learning a new skill strategically. This one is a big one with a big focus on strategically because I'm very good at skills development. I have always enjoyed learning new things, learning languages, learning hard skills, also going to universities and taking all of the different types of courses and really developing my professional abilities. But it is only in the last couple of years that I have realized the power of strategic skills learning. And that's something that I want to share with you so that you don't waste your time learning all the different skills that are not going to be relevant to you and your future career. What do we talk about? We talk about your dream career and what skills are necessary for that position. Because very often you will think about, okay, I want to learn a new language, without realizing that actually this is not going to help you achieve your goals in the future. You want to align your skills development with the vision that you want for yourself in the future. And that includes really looking at what are the gaps in skills between you and your future self. So, if you want to work as an ambassador, that will include having really great presentation and diplomatic skills, even if you're more interested in data analysis courses. Of course, you can still learn data analysis, but if you want to have this fast track to where you want to be, this is an area that I want you to look at. Habit number 3, reinvesting into my skills and experiences. And that, again, I have been so good at since I was very young, because even as a teenager, I used to use my pocket money to hire a teacher to learn a skill that was necessary for me to get better grades at my final exam. I have kept this habit throughout the years. So even when I was working as a nanny or working in a French bakery and studying full time, all the little cash that I had left at the end of the month, which was not a lot, I would reinvest into the experiences that I wanted to have to enrich my skills and my experiences overall. So basically, things that I wanted to be able to use as examples on my CV, as examples in the interviews, but also as experience that showcase, for example, my multicultural background. And the reinvesting, so that habit of having money and putting it again into investing in my skills, have been something that has transformed me over and over and over again, because you learn so much about yourself, you learn new skills, and you're able to bring more value to your employer and to your life, and to have a bigger impact on life, which is at the end of the day what we want to have working in international organizations and NGOs. Habit number 4, asking for feedback. There is no one better than your supervisor, your colleagues, your bosses, or clients that you have that are going to assess you, your personality, your behavior, your skills, and your special talents. It's not only about the negative feedback, so pointing out what's not working or what could be done better. It's also pointing out to the special talents and skills that you may not realize that you have, and mapping out among other colleagues in the specific organization or in a specific background on what is a power skill for you. It is thanks to my colleagues and my bosses that I have discovered mine. I always ask for feedback, whether that's when I'm working with a supervisor, with my colleagues, with my clients. If I'm having an interview and I didn't get the job in the end, I always ask to have a feedback call with the person that was interviewing me, so that I know what are the areas that I could be working on. Having external feedback allows you to have a bit more of an external and optimal review of your skills and abilities. And I do think that it's really important to have an insight from someone else into you and how you present yourself, because then you can adjust and you can become a better version of yourself. Habit number 5, attending networking events regularly. I know you may hate networking. I know this word for many people means so many bad things, and you may not want to be doing it. For me personally, networking means building relationships. And I have learned so much for other people about work opportunities, professional skills development opportunities, about myself, about different kinds of jobs or different kinds of organizations and the rules that are working within that particular organization. I have learned a lot through networking. I had a lot of ideas for career changes, for topics that I never considered, because of people that I had conversations with. So that is something that really accelerated my progress, because I had insights into, for example, what's valuable in that particular team or in that particular department. If I was having a conversation with someone who was very high level, I was able to map out their trajectory to how they got where they are at the moment and get really inspired by it. I think this networking aspect for the past couple of years have been the most important one for me personally throughout the years. It not only allows you to make connections, to have some insider information, but also to develop your own emotional intelligence and diplomatic skills, which are very important when working in international organizations and NGOs. So make sure that you attend the networking events regularly, even if you're an introvert, even if you really don't feel like going. I have this rule that I always share with my clients, to set yourself a goal, a specific goal. If you really don't feel like going, or if you're having a really bad day, tell yourself that you're just going to go for 30 minutes and leave. Or tell yourself that you will go and speak to one person and leave after that. The key is to have the habit of getting outside of your comfort zone, of speaking to different people, to developing these skills, and to having that diplomatic capacity of handling many different people and many different conversations. Habit number 6, taking a leadership position. I'm not talking about leading an organization or becoming a director of a big company straight away. I'm talking about those small areas where you can take on leadership. For example, when I was probably 16, and I have mentioned that I was doing karate, I had a green belt and I was preparing kids, really kids, for their karate belt exams. And that was, I think, one of the first exposures that I had to leadership because I needed to structure what I was teaching and how I was teaching. I had people that are children that I needed to supervise. And being in a position where you're responsible for something and for somebody else's result, it really pushes you into areas that you may not have had the chance to develop. So I will urge you, no matter what your area is, I have given you an example as a teenager because I think when we think about a leadership position, you would think of me as a leader leading international organizations ready or having led my publications at the OECD. But actually, it all stemmed from those little exposures of leadership that I have done throughout the years, every year, that led me to be able to handle what I'm handling right now. So, whatever your stage is, get yourself into a habit of being in a leadership position, whether that's something small like helping someone with their social media account and being responsible for that as a leader, or having something bigger like a volunteering position and being responsible for specific projects, or proposing to do a new project at work if you're already in that position. Find those pockets of leadership that you can utilize for your own self development. You will also be surprised what kind of leader you are, and because of this exposure, you would want to learn more and more about the different techniques, about how to manage people, how to manage projects, how to manage your own emotions, because it's not easy to be a leader. And if you want to be one in the future, which I think a lot of people do, if you want to lead an impactful change in the world, you need to have that original exposure. So start now. And habit number 7, working with a mentor or a coach. That comes from honestly having been a coach for a lot of people for the past year and a half. And the transformations I have seen in them within 3 months, I'm inspired to have one as well. So, a habit to talk to people, ask them for advice, ask them about their career journey, or taking that next step, hiring someone for a prolonged period of time to accompany you throughout a specific period of time is going to get you to where you want to be so much faster. And it's similar to that feedback element. You don't recognize how you think and what you could be doing better unless you work with someone and ask that person who is specialized in a particular area to help you in getting the most out of the situation that you're in. Even if you do not have a big budget for working with coaches, you are still able to have some mentorship opportunities through many different international organizations. So actually check out if the workplace that you're in offers mentorship programs for free, because that's very often available for people. And if you don't, you can also just personally approach someone and ask them to become your mentor too. You don't necessarily need to go straight away to a coach that is a professional in what they're doing to be able to achieve these results. It's a habit of being able to ask someone else to guide you where you want to be, to guide you even further when you want to be. Having said that, if you are looking for a coach and if you're interested in working in international organizations and NGOs, I do have 2 last spots for Q1. So until March, I'm basically booked up. But if you're interested, let me know. I'll leave the link to my website and you can send me a message if you're interested in working with me and if you're ready for your transformation. Let me give you an extra pro tip, a bonus, let's call it that. Take regular step back. That is something that I say as someone who has gone through burnout in the past 2 years, which has been very tough for me. And I'm a huge advocate to having this work-life balance. And I think creating a habit of taking that step back, whether that's 2 weeks over the Christmas break or taking 2 weeks during holidays where you completely separate yourself from work, you do not look at your emails, or having some periods of time where you slow down and learning how to basically balance your work and life better. Because look, we're always going to have those really intense periods of times, whether that's because you're publishing a paper or working on something really big at the moment. There will be times where you will need to work weekends and late nights. That's normal. But then learn how to balance that after that. Take some extra days off or take some extra hours, leave earlier. Create this habit of taking care of yourself regularly to prevent burnouts across your career, because they are not pretty. All right, that's for the 7 habits that are going to make your year the best year yet. And I am really interested in hearing what are your habits that you're going to implement this year. Please write it down in the comments. Let's have a conversation down there. And I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be a meditation for your dream career. See you then.